Okay, we're going to try this again, y'all. Hi, everybody. Hopefully, you guys can get on for the Facebook Live. And so I'm going to wait a few moments for everybody to get on. Sorry about today, this morning. Just the connection was off, so I had to move to a whole nother place. So I'm hoping that you can join us, right now, and hopefully you can see me better. I'm hoping that you can see me better. Definitely, we're just so excited. So we'll wait a few more moments for a few more people to get on. And while we're waiting, let me first, hi Teresa, how you doing, Shantae? I just want to just thank everybody for lovely, lovely birthday shout outs this past weekend. My birthday was Friday, December 2nd, and it was so, so amazing. The weekend was great. Hi Vanita, I'm just giving my shout outs right now. So I want to thank you guys so much for joining. I deleted the first one that we did earlier because it was just a bad connection, and so I had to come to my office. Hey Gladys, good morning to you. God bless you. And so I'm just giving shout outs. It was a beautiful, beautiful birthday weekend. I had a great surprise. And so that was just great. I'm gonna be partying the whole rest of the month. So hey, join me if you like. But I wanted to just be able to say before we even get into it, to just really, really live. I had declared some things at church on Sunday yesterday, and it was such an anointing in that place. It was such an anointing of God in that place. And when I had got up to do the worship, and the Spirit of the Lord just fell on me, and I literally, when I was actually in the pew before I got up, but I literally saw like everything I needed. Like I saw my cameraman, I saw the producers, I saw my dressing room, I know what it looks like, I saw my hair and makeup artist and everything. And guess what? Today, this morning, I literally needed all those things, even though I was at my house, but I needed every last one of those things this morning because there's a lot of prep work that goes into these 30 minutes of time to do these shows. It's a lot of prep work. And so I'm building the team. God is sending the people that really want to help and so forth. So I just want to thank you guys for joining every Monday. You do not have to get on here. And so it's always my desire that you guys gain some knowledge, grow, that you take from the real issues that you may be having in your life and you find real solutions. And we desire to use biblical principles and psychological concepts to help people to better their lives and to better their world. So I'm excited. And so we have a few of you guys on, and we're going to go ahead and get started because we normally do get started at 10:30 on Mondays, but we had a little bit of snafu. So we're here in my office, and we're just going to go for it. Hey, Leanne, God bless you so much. I'm so glad that you're on. And we're so excited for those that are sharing the video. It is an awesome opportunity, and we're going to get right on started. So thank you guys. I had a fabulous birthday, and I'm still partying a little bit. And I'm 42 years young, and we're excited. So anyways, let's get started. So today's Mental Monday, like all the other ones, our design and our job here for the Mental Mondays is that we deal with real issues and create and have real solutions for it. I get the wonderful opportunity of utilizing biblical principles and psychological concepts in order to help people to merge and make sense of their lives a little bit better. I'm a marketplace evangelist, and I'm known to the world as the people's therapist, and I absolutely love helping to motivate, inspire, train, and teach people all over the world. I am designed by God to literally be a MIT, M-I-T-T, motivator, inspirer, trainer, teacher, and transfer of information. So my job is to help you to say yes to whatever it is that you have been running from. So that's partly my job, is to spark an inspiration inside of your soul, not just for your hearing of your ears, but to wake you up. I'm called to wake you up. And I'm so glad that I get an opportunity to do this every single Monday here on Mental Mondays. our topic for today is relationships that win. Relationships that win. So, hi, Pastor Greg Hunter. Thank you so much for joining. I always like to give shout outs to people who join sometimes for the first time. So, congrats and thank you for joining. So today on our topic, we're going to talk about relationships that win. And all of our lives are surrounded and revolve around relationships. Whether it's with oneself, with others, with objects. Like some people have relationships with their cars. Some people have relationships with things that they have formed, dogs, cats, all kinds of things, right? And sometimes those relationships don't have great boundaries. So therefore the winning capacity becomes lessened because there's no boundaries. And when there's no boundaries, then things become abused, right? So we're going to be talking about how relationships, how to win in relationships. And I'm not just talking about like heterosexual, male to female. I'm talking about all types of relationships. Hey, Edward, so good to see you as well. And so in relationships, because you and I come from different places, like I'm a divorcee with 2 children. So I come from a different place, a different mindset, right? You maybe come from a different place being a divorcee or a single person, or you may be currently married or whatever. We all have a starting place is what it is that I want to be able to share. And so the starting place is the foundational place that you and I gravitate from our life experiences, family, our choices, and literally our perception of who we say we are, right? So when you and I decide that we're going to be involved in a relationship with anyone, the very first thing that is prevalent that we should know is that those relationships have a formation, a beginning, and it involves the mind, the body, the soul, and the spirit. And typically the mind and the spirit are combined as one. So we become like a tripart being, right? So in that, it's complex already. My mind is different from your mind. Your mind is different from my mind. My spirit is different from your spirit, depending on what's in my spirit, right? If I don't have the Spirit of Christ and maybe you do, I'm going to operate in a whole different kind of vein. So relationships can become very complex. But I've been doing some really research, and I believe, hey, Sherlyn, I believe that relationships have become too complex because the first relationship that we really need to have is a relationship with ourselves. And I can speak from experience of not having this growing up. Like I had a terrible sense of self. I was very, very smart, like brainiac smart. And when I figured out that that's what I had, that's all I did, right? So I overcompensated for all the other areas that I sucked in. And one of the things I sucked in the most, and I'm coming in closer to the camera, I sucked in loving myself. So I had a deep self-hatred for self, a deep self-hatred. And so it's very interesting to me. Somebody recently told me that I was like the sex symbol. And I was like, I took it as a compliment. I didn't feel, offended by it because I remember a time when I didn't even like myself, right? And it wasn't a sex symbol because of anything I was wearing provocative. It was just like they were saying that I was beautiful. And then they said, you're really, really beautiful. Like your beauty is like a light. And I'm grateful to God for that because I desire to be a light. And I want to use every single thing, hey, Dave, that I could use in order to win the world to see the magnificent power and the presence of God. So growing up for me was tough, so I didn't have a good sense of self growing up initially. And then I started reading the scriptures and I got saved when I was 7 years old and all of that. But I still had a terrible sense of self to the point where I would like mark on myself, which is called self-injurious. So I would take an eraser and I would mark on myself, right? Just terrible. People talked about my nose and that I was dark skinned, and I didn't realize that all those things would later try to become the very thing that would hinder my ability to have effective relationships. And so I started not only sucking at relationships with myself, but I also started sucking at relationships with other people. I projected, which we're going to talk about in a moment, which is one of a defense mechanism that many people have, projection. I would do all these things, right? And so relationships that win can never win if we are losing within our own self. If I tell myself every day I'm ugly, if I tell myself I'm dumb, I'm stupid, I'm whatever, then I'm going to lose. My ability to look at you as a winner is going to be very small, which it was. I was very negative, highly negative. And you guys forgive me with the way that this angle of this camera is. I don't want nobody to see my chi-chis but my husband, whoever he is. But anyway, so relationships requires that you love yourself. So the very first caveat that I want us to just kind of get off the board before we go into the etymology and the definition of the word relationship is, do you really have a good sense of self? Do you really, really love yourself? I mean, I'm not talking about getting your nails done and hair done and, putting on a little lipstick. I'm talking about really genuinely loving yourself, even when you're high, when you're low, when you don't have nothing. And you will be tested to find out if you love yourself. There's some lyrics in Lauren Denise Bird's song that she has, and it's powerful lyrics in all of the songs. But she says, we live in a culture where people define their ability to have great self-worth by deciding to cut people off and to disconnect from people. And when I heard those lyrics, I kept playing it over and over, and it's the truth. But that's not real self-love. She talked about that if that's the only way that you can express your self-love for self, then she don't want to have any part of it. And I tell you this, Lauren, I don't either. I don't have to self-disconnect from people in order to have a good sense of myself or to love myself. What I do need to have is a real, genuine self-image of myself that I love who I am, who I'm becoming. I'm nowhere near where I would like to be, as you are, not where you want to be. So I have no time to get into discussions about where I'm not at and what I need to do, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right? So the very first thing, just right off the gate, I just want you to go back and to realize that you got to love yourself. The Bible even talks about that, to love your neighbor as yourself. So when we don't love ourselves, it is absolutely difficult. I'm telling you, I have done the research. It is difficult to love your neighbor, to love someone else, to genuinely express a feeling of exchange where it is mutually given because you just love yourself enough to give what you want coming back, right? So because I want to be loved, because I love myself, I'm going to always give love. I'm not going to go around being hateful because I'm not that way towards myself. Does that make sense? Okay, great. So as a starting point, relationships matter. And just so you guys know, this will be a two-parter because I think, so we will conclude and have part 2 for relationships that win on next Monday, because it's so important to me that we get these relationships right. There's just so many things that I want to say. So I want to stay with the script for a moment because we only got like 15 more minutes or so. So psychologically, there's a term. Well, let me do this before I go there. Let me go to relationships means the way in which two or more concepts, objects, or people are connected, or the state of being connected. It is the state or way in which two or more people or organizations regard and behave themselves one to the other. Like, for example, a landlord to a tenant, the banker to a mortgagee, a husband to a wife, a friend to a friend. So those are categorizations of relationships. Now the etymology of the word, and it's really powerful. So I want to actually pull up this other word that I found that I thought was really good for you guys to know, that I think you will love. The word means to start again. And it gives us to know, specifically in the 1640s, it meant the sense or state of being. But when we really get into the Anglo-Saxon French word of it in relations in the 1390s, going back some more, it meant a bringing back, a bringing back or restoring. So relationship, and then in the 1740s is when it started to come into the play of like blood relations or marriage and things of that nature and being related in that format. But I want you to think about the whole terminology of relationship, being to bring back alive, to restore, lation or latus, which is a Latin word, which means to begin again or the state of, and the word lation is the state of being, right? So now we have, so I'm gonna give it all to you. So it's a coming back again, or the restoring again, a state of being, in order for something to connect. That's the whole purpose of relationship, is order for something to connect, right? So just right off the bat, in relationships, if they're going to work, you need to be able to connect. So I'm giving a real overview, and then next week I will actually break down the defense mechanisms. I will mention 2 defense mechanisms though today that we carry in relationships that does not make us or cause us to win. But relationships, if you're going to have a relationship that win, I want you to think about relationships in the format of 1, connection. Okay, that's really important. Number 2, it's a state of being. So when I think about being in a relationship with my friends, we're there, like we are engaged, whether I'm on the phone talking to them or not. There is a connection. I'm thinking about them. I got their best interest in my mind. I'm never thinking low of them, whether they believe it or not. My relationship with people that I'm in relationship with, it's a constant mutual exchange of a favorable thing that benefits 2 people. Does that make sense? So in a relationship, in order for it to win, you've got to want to, 1, benefit from that relationship. And there's nothing wrong with that. And then 2, make sure that you're able to give something in which someone else can benefit from as well. And so oftentimes we want to go into relationships with anyone and we're not wanting it to benefit. You know, I'm 42 years young, and so I don't have time to be in relationships that don't benefit me, friendships that don't benefit me. And I'm not looking for you to do anything for me, but I do need an exchange because I'm constantly a grower. I have a growth mindset, so I'm always evolving. So I can't be around people that have negativity all the time. Now, I'm not saying I have any issues or problems that come up, but I don't want negativity. Negativity is a state of mindset that gravitates towards people who constantly live in a state of help me, I need help. And even when help comes, they don't get the help. So they constantly hold on to the thing that they want to get out from. And so until we realize the need for being able to do that, then we won't do it. We won't absolutely be able to go to that place. So think about that for just 1 second, and then I'm going to come back in like 2 seconds. I know I'm coming out. I'll just visit it.
I'm going to put you in this one back here.
Gotcha. So now that we've thought about it, and thank you so much, I want you to think about these 4 things before we deal with anything else. So this is like a passionate topic of mine, which is why we're going to do a 2-parter. When we're trying to make something win in life in general, what we really try to do is we want to create a multiplication of that thing. Like I decided, since I'm divorced and I'm like, okay, I'm going to get married again. I decided that my next marriage, I am just going to live it out, not based on what anything else has told me about marriage. I'm going to live in that marital relationship full, always on full, always happy to just be who I am, and loving that person as they are, flaws included. Because in my first relationship, I didn't like all the flaws. You know, I was like, because I had my issues, because I shouldn't have married the individual. I love him as a person, but we just know, but we don't know how to say no. So we get involved in stuff, right? So I learned over a period of time truly how to say no and mean it, right? That's that boundary thing that I talked about earlier about relationships. And so in going into a relationship, the next relationship you go into, friendship that you go into, partnership that you go into, you have to, I don't care what it is, if it's a marital relationship, you got to go into it with the spirit of wanting to win. Why are you in a relationship if you're not going to win? I am going into my marital relationship, the next one, we're winning. We winning at everything. We winning at loving each other. We winning at raising children. We winning at making love. We winning at everything. We winning at making money. If something happens and it don't work out good, and inside of our house, we winning at how to come up with solutions. Everything in that marital relationship, my next marriage, it's about winning. And you have to go into your relationship with that same kind of vigor. We winning. We winning as me being his great wife, and I'll be his trophy piece, his freak piece, whatever I need to be. That's what I'm going to be. And then on the other side, I'm going to be winning to just be what he needs to be in terms of me being his helpmeet, right? But the mindset of wanting to grow and to be a winner in a marital situation is huge. And I take that kind of mindset in everything, in my friendships. So if I say you're a friend, it's serious to me. And I've really been evaluating what I do say and how I do say things are friendships and things like that, because it's serious for me. I'm there. You can call me. I may have to, wake up out of my sleep, whatever the case may be. But relationships that win, people have already decided that they're going to win. And I can say for my first marriage, I didn't go into it that it was going to win. I actually went into it that it was going to fail because I knew already that it shouldn't have been, right? So the mindset is everything if relationships are going to win. You have to make it or break it. Okay, you in it now. I mean, unless it's abusive or something of that nature, if you in a relationship, you have to make the decision that, I'm going to put on my teacher's glasses. You have to make the decision, people, right, that you're going to win. What is the use of being married and not win? So let me just break it down even more for my marriage folks. So, because, I still get all the inboxes about all these sexless marriages that I don't understand. I mean, y'all married, y'all can have sex, and y'all ain't having none. Shame on you. So if you are in a marital situation and you want to win, and sister, he likes oral sex, give it to him. That's winning in that relationship. It can't be gross if that's what he likes and that's your husband. Hello, I said it. Yes, I did. So when we think about winning, when we think about the power of winning in a relationship, it's a mindset, it's a spirit, it's an atmosphere. I can walk in the midst of people and know automatically they aren't winners. And it's not anything personal. The atmosphere is defeated. The atmosphere is defeated. And it's not about a smile on their face, right? It's not about that. It's about a spirit. You got to wake up when I am going to win in my relationships. I'm going to be integral in my relationships. I'm going to be intentional in my relationships. And I'm not going to be intimidated by what comes my way through the relationship, because relationships are designed to help us. Now, as we get ready to close, I want to just mention 2 defense mechanisms that hinder our ability to allow our relationships to actually win. And one of them is denial, which is this whole aspect of getting into the inability to accept reality or to face the truth about something as it is occurring, right? That's denial. And sometimes some people are such in a state of denial that no relationships work. They blame everybody, when the truth of it is that they're the common denominator for relationships not working across the board. Friendships, relationships, work relationships, etc. So denial is a defense mechanism that unconsciously we move into in relationships, and they damage relationships, right? Number 2 that I want to mention is regression. Regression is the reverting back to an earlier stage of development, so that you do not have to accept unpleasant thoughts or realities that occur in your life. And so I see this happen and play out many, many times in relationships. And what it does is it impacts our ability to thrive. Because if you are regressing back to an earlier stage of your development and people don't even know who that person was, it it makes people unstable, and it creates like a bipolarish type of effect in people's ability to respond to you. Well, and as you are presenting yourself maybe as a woman, but you keep reverting back to this 12-year-old girl, then the man doesn't know how to respond to you. Do you respond to the girl? Do you respond to the woman? So the regression is a defense mechanism that sometimes we use, and I'll go much more into depth on next Monday. But I wanted us to just look at how we allow denial, regression. We're going to be talking about disassociation. We're going to talk about compartmentalization. We're going to talk about all those things that hinder relationships that win. And then we're going to come up with the strategy, and the real strategy, just so you'll know, I'll just tell you, the secret is out. The real strategy for relationships to win is to have the spirit of winning in you. I felt that myself. Have the spirit of winning in you. You know, I remember I was with a guy, and he has such a swag about him. I remember, and he has such a swag about who he is, everything about him. And so to see his name makes me light up. To see, you know, everything just goes crazy. The way he handles himself, how he moves. It's because there is a winner spirit about who he is. And so I'm attracted to it because I got a winner spirit in me. So it just like rises up. And then I also, at the same time, it allows me to be comfortable and to feel safe and to feel protected. So relationships that win, they always give us a sense of protection. Okay, this is business relationships. You always feel protected when you're in relationships that win. Never ever forget that. When you're in a relationship that wins, you'll always feel protected, always feel connected. You'll always feel involved. You'll always feel like they have your best interests, right? So I'm hoping that you got a little bit out of our very, very brief Mental Monday today on relationships that win. I just want to give you a few pointers about that. Next week, we'll do part 2, go more into depth, and it's going to be powerful. We're going to talk about the defense mechanisms. But let me tell you something. Here on Mental Mondays is our desire that you would have real issues, and we come up with real solutions for those real issues. And I'm so grateful for you to come on and just be a part of my audience. And we are getting ready. I'm planning for the live audience, and it is going to be free. So I hope you be a part of my live taping audience, because we're just going to go all the way. So thank you for bearing with me. Remember, winning in a relationship is a spirit. It's an atmosphere. It's a mindset. So if you're going to win in your relationship, take that and let that be the way that you win. I'm winning. I know y'all know I'm winning. Holla at your girl. I'm Lakita, Mental Mondays. Real issues, real solutions. Mwah. Love you guys so much. Sorry. Bye.